So Flyway really does have the power to enable and unlock goals around CI/CD and automated deployments. And I want to show you how this would work today. So what we have is an Azure DevOps pipeline that has been built, and we've checked in some changes that are currently pending on a particular branch. So if we come over to our repository, what we can see here is we have our full folder for the Flyway structure. So our schema model is going to give us visibility on all of those individual objects and their current state in the project. And then also we have our migration scripts and our rollback scripts available for us centrally so that the whole team has visibility as to how these can work, and these can be leveraged alongside our pipeline. From here, I've got a couple of pending changes. So if I want to do a pull request, because we have that dual view of both state and migrations, we're going to be able to see how our objects are evolving and also how that change is about to be implemented in the pipeline. From here, once I've reviewed these, I can merely approve and merge this into my release branch, giving me the ability to now leverage these as part of our deployment. From here, what we can do is come over into our pipeline once this is complete. And we've set this to automatically trigger from a new merge into the release pipeline. This again could be a manual approval gate that you kick off on demand. Now we have a couple of other pipelines alongside this. Our cherry pick pipeline allows us to select specific migrations out of sequence, even multiple migrations at the same time, and structure the order of deployment if we wish to prioritize certain changes above others. Our undo pipeline lets us enter a number of undo scripts that we actually want to execute against our targets, putting those through and rolling back those changes that we've seen. And we can even have hotfix pipelines that allow us to just hit certain key stages if we want to rapidly execute a change all the way through. But for today, we're going to look at this forward migration workflow. And what we've got is a build, a test, and a deploy step. So in here, we've set up an optional build environment. This is an empty database where we're going to literally clean and break down every time, deploy all of our scripts, roll back all of our scripts to ensure that they compile correctly and are able to be undone on demand. And then we're going to come over to our deployment steps. And within here, we're going to do a lot of value add. So we're going to look at change reports and drift reports, but we also want to really focus down on our deployment. And our first step we're going to hit is test. This is going to be automatically carried through on successful changes, but we're also going to then want to deploy to production with maybe a gated release here to enable some of that additional controls that we want across our pipeline. And what this is going to do is look at our Flyway schema history table on our target environment. And we can see here, we've currently got our deployments here. These are all ready to go against our test environment. And we've actually already, in a previous workflow, manually deployed our new scripts 5 and 6 here. Flyway is going to understand this because it's going to reference this, look at the source of the migrations in our migration folder, and ensure that everything that we've commanded it to do, in this case, migrate all pending scripts, is then done. So in the case of the test environment, we won't actually be making any deployments. However, in the case of our production environment, when we look here, we haven't actually made those additional deployments yet. So we're just going to be approaching 4 scripts. We've got 5 and 6 ready to execute. But in this table, Flyway is going to not only track and give us that full audit history of when these changes were made, but it's going to reference, if we wish, the checksum values of the existing scripts that were deployed and ensure these are aligned with the scripts that are sitting in the repository. This way, we can make sure that the scripts that we've successfully deployed against maybe lower environments are still the same scripts that we're deploying here, and confirming that that is a stable change going forwards. When we come over to our pipeline, we can then get to the change report. And in the change report, this is actually, in this step, going to ask us for a code review here, because within our code review, we're going to want to ensure that those changes are exactly what we want to see. So from here, we can check those drift and change reports. And what we can get here is some visibility over exactly what changes are about to be executed. So in our change report, we can then look here and see that our Twitter column is about to be added. It doesn't currently exist over here in our environment. And also, if we have any database drift. So comparing our target environment against the golden state of our project, and really be able to ensure that whatever we're doing is a like-for-like state against our previous environment. So last thing we want to do is test something fully in a lower environment, get to production, assume everything's going to work, but production's actually had maybe some hot fixes applied. we need to be aware of that before deployment, and this is a great way of tracking and identifying that. Once we've done this, what we can do is come in, continue our workflow, and just give that approval step in here with any notes to ensure that we're then deploying those as we wish to do. All of this really gives us that ability to control our deployments and scale out alongside any CI/CD solution just by merely scripting Flyway out, either in things like a classic editor, or in the case of our pipeline here, a YAML file that we actually provide examples of in our documentation that you can merely copy and paste in to expand out your footprint across your database estate, just calling out variable groups for each individual pipeline, allowing that full standardization both across database environments, but also crucially across database platforms as well. If you want to explore more about how Flyway can unlock the power of CI/CD, please do let us know. Thank you.